Welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob. Um, I've got something here to start out with, but I actually think you might know more information on this. So
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
anything. I'm just an idiot.
I'm gonna ask you for information on something here. Um, but I saw this the other day, and I threw it in our Twitter group about the state of California, I think it was. Yeah. Um, they're passing a program that would provide $150,000 for illegals to
Oh,
purchase a
fuck.
home.
Hold on. Yeah, okay. I don't remember any details. Let me look it up.
Because I sent that and I remember being like, oh, that looks good. And then I remember you had came back to us in the group and said, so I actually read this. I think you said I made the mistake of reading into this more, and it's actually a little bit deceiving of how they were trying to portray it.
Yeah, no one's just getting the money. Oh, fuck. Yeah, there was a lot of like ifs that people okay. So applicants must meet requirements set by Fannie Mae, including having a taxpayer ID number or a social security number to apply for the loan. So these people theoretically can't be undocumented, right?
Yeah,
Because you either need to have a tax ID or a social security number. So
right,
it's not so if this is true, which who the fuck knows,
right,
which I actually trust that it will, because anytime that you're giving the money away, it's they want it back at some point.
right, right. Yeah, nothing is free.
So technically it actually can't go to any undocumented or illegals. It's got to go to documented people. Um, it's also 20% in down payment assistance up to $150,000.
Okay,
Um, so that's the other thing too, is it's you're not just getting 150,000. You're getting
right.
a
You're
20%
getting
down payment
20%.
assistance at
Yeah,
max 150,000.
20%, 100. What does that have to be?
Oh, if it was 150,000?
Is that a $750,000 house?
No, it's way more than that, isn't it? Times five, right? Oh, it
Yeah,
is
it's
only
seven.
750.
Yeah.
Um, yep. And then it's a shared appreciation loan in which the only interest the home buyer pays would be 15 or 20% of the home's increase in value upon selling the property, depending on their income level. So the money does actually have to be paid back. So if they give someone 50,000, you have to pay the 50,000 back.
Right.
There's just no interest tacked on to that. Um, Also, what stupid thing am I on? Ugh, I'm on Politico. Um, because that's the thing, it's a loan, it's not a grant. So
Right.
loans got to get paid back.
Right.
And then if the house does appreciate, then they have to pay 15 or 20% of the appreciation if they sell the property. So the thing with it, it's like if you just want to get mad, you can.
Right.
But all this is just another program.
Yeah.
So no one's getting anything for free. The money has to get paid back. It is an interest-free loan,
Right.
but if you use it to buy the house and actually make your payments and actually sell the house eventually, then you owe money
Right.
back.
Right.
Um, because you instantly see what they say is, oh, see, you're just giving illegals $150,000 each.
Yeah.
No, you're not. They still, so that's the thing. Technically it's not illegals. It's documented people because you
Right.
have to have government identification to apply for this loan.
Right.
Then you are applying for the loan. You're not just given this random money. And it's only the down payment and it's only up to 150,000
Right.
and it's got to get paid back. And if you sell the house and it appreciates, then you owe money on the appreciation. Like it's not as simple as people think.
Right. Right.
I also don't know what the I don't know what happens if you default on the house. I don't know what happens about any of that stuff, but um that was the thing is like when people don't read what the
Yeah.
details actually are,
Right. Right.
um it's easy to come up with these leaps and bounds that don't actually exist in reality.
Right. Yeah, and they just immediately just go to one end of the spectrum, right? Oh, see?
And that's the thing is like I would love to fucking find out why people are saying that undocumented people can apply for this. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, there's nothing in there that would lead you to believe that illegals can apply for that.
Yeah, and it's like it looks like it has to be legal immigrants
Right. Right.
that pay taxes.
Yeah.
So,
Which I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess I'm fine with that. I'm not really cool with more government programs, but um whatever. I suppose it's a state-run program, so it's not like it's a federal program, which again, if your state wants to spend money doing that, I mean, that's the state that you live in, right? So figure it the fuck out. Um so yeah. I mean, I guess that's fine, right? On face value. Like it's not
yeah,
like one of
I
those like I saw recently that the Harris campaign had come out and said that one of the things that she wants to do is give everyone $25,000 towards a down payment on a house, right? Because housing is so unaffordable. What we're going to do as the federal government is we're going to give you $25,000 immediately. So listen, I'm not an economist. I know nothing about that kind of shit. I'm not a finance guy. I'm not any of that. But my immediate thought was, well, the price on every house just increased $25,000.
pretty much.
And every single podcast that I've listened to that's talked about it since then said the exact same thing. They were like, oh, the government's going to give you $25,000 towards a house. Oh,
Yeah.
that $300,000 house just became
Yeah, I'm gonna
$325,000.
that's my thing is I would just conveniently add 25 grand to the
Yeah,
top.
dude, and then like the more I heard people talk about it, the more I was like, this is the same thing as student loans. This is why college has become so unaffordable because the government got involved saying, oh, I'll give you quote unquote free money, right? So, how many times have we had this exercise on this podcast over the last 6 years, right? It's when people had to pay for college themselves. Okay, college goes, oh, it's $15,000 a year to come here. Okay, all right, I can scrounge up seven, right? But like, I'll pay you back. I'll take out a private loan. I'll do what I need to do. Federal government comes along and goes, oh, it's $15,000 a year. We'll give you that $15,000 for free, right? Well, there's an interest rate on it, but like, we'll just give you the money at 18 years old, right? Here's a $15,000 loan so you can go to college for 1 year. And the college goes, oh, oh, so you're just going to give them the money? Yeah, well, now it's $20,000 to come here. And the federal government goes, okay, here's a check for $20,000. And the college goes, well, actually, now it's 24,000 to come here. Okay, here's your check. And now, since the federal government has gotten involved in higher education student loans since probably the late 80s to early 90s, I feel like it was probably the 90s. That seems like a Democratic policy would probably went into place when Clinton was in office. I can't imagine it was under Reagan or HW. Um, but here we are where like the cost of college has exponentially increased to like astronomical numbers, right? Like Bridgewater State. What did we look it up? Didn't we look it up a couple months ago? Where Bridgewater is like $25,000 a year or something like that. It was 14.
Forget what it was now. Yeah.
My freshman year at Bridgewater was $14,000 in 2010. So roughly 15 years ago, it was 14,000 and now it's increased $10,000. But it's because what I just said, right? When the government gets involved in giving out free money, prices of everything goes up magically by the amount of money that the government wants to issue. Dude, it happened during COVID.
Magically.
Like that's how the whole like inflation, right? Like that's how inflation got so bad. What happened? The government just gave everyone $1,200. And what happened? Everything got way more expensive because everyone had money to spend. So these companies are like, "Oh yeah, that pizza that you wanted that's normally $13. Yeah, well now it's 17. But you paid it because you had the extra money because you got $1,200 from the government." Right? And you're like, "Oh yeah, what's a $17 pizza? Who cares? I don't care." Right? And then it goes up and up and up and up and now here we are where shit is ridiculously expensive because the federal government is fucking stupid. They're like, "Oh no, we're helping. Oh, we're helping. We'll give money to people." No. How about you don't? How about you fire all the people that work for you and make your government as federal government as small as fucking humanly possible? That's how you help the people. You don't help the people by, like, "Oh, let's give them money." Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll just give them money. But again, like you said, with the federal government, nothing is free, right? So it's like, "Oh, we'll just give them money." Okay, well, they're going to take that money back at some point. Or if it is actually free, like it was during COVID, it's going to cause ridiculous inflation, right? So, like, that's the thing. It's either not actually free, right? That you have to pay it back and pay interest on it, or it's going to fuck up the economy with inflation. Those are basically the only two options when the federal government starts handing out money.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. But
Pretty
everyone's
awesome.
like, "Oh, yeah, no, the government's good. We want the government to take care of us." No, fuck the government.
Yeah, I'll just handle my own shit. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, what about the people? Have your state governments figure it out. Right. And it's like, as little faith as I have in government programs themselves, if the state of California, right, that has a massive homelessness problem, if they wanted to decide that if the federal funds dried up, right, and they wanted to decide to use California state taxpayer money to fix the homeless problem, they'd probably be able to figure it out, right? But because they get so much money from the federal government, they're just like, "Oh yeah, fuck it. Well, yeah, no, 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 we're working on fixing the homelessness problem." "Oh, what are you guys doing?" "Yeah, we're working on it." "Yeah, but what are you actually doing?" "Well, we're working on it." Right? Like you have all these people that work for these departments that make six-figure salaries trying to end homelessness. It's like, yeah, homelessness has gotten worse in California. What are you guys doing? Right? It's but just because there's just this endless flow of money. When the money dries up, people have to do their job, right? To justify keeping their job.
Fucking idiotic.
Yeah, it's insane. And but like people like it blows my mind that people just don't understand that, right? Or they just don't get it. They're like, "Oh no, 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 the government is here to help you." No, they're not. What was the who was it? Was it Reagan or was it Nixon? It was either Reagan or Nixon, I think, that said the scariest 8 words you can ever hear from someone is "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." I forget which president said that, but it was one of the two. Um, but it was pretty good. So, but I mean, at least we know that the illegal thing isn't actually true.
It was Reagan.
Yeah. Oh, it was Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Reagan was kind of a boss. A lot of people don't like him because they say like his economic policy kind of screwed shit up. And like maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't really know enough about history to comment one way or the other. But I mean, the little that I do know about his presidency, like he was pretty fucking cool. I know Dennis Quaid played him in the biopic that's coming out soon. I'll probably well, let's be real. I'm not going to go to the movie theater probably anytime soon to watch a movie, but I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming. I was going to say, "Oh, I'm definitely going to go watch that movie." No, I'm not. I'll see it when it comes on streaming though.
I was in DC when Reagan died and they had like the fucking services.
Oh,
What a
really?
shit show that was.
Jesus, yeah.
Eighth grade school trip.
Yeah.
And the worst part is those dumbass teachers brought us to the fucking like parade's the wrong word, like whatever the fucking route was.
Procession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So swiftly, you can probably imagine who I was friends with in middle school, eighth grade. We were removed from there and we were brought to the mall in the food court and
Yeah.
whatever else.
Yeah.
Very quickly, actually. We weren't there very long. They were like, you guys cannot stay here.
Yeah, big surprise there, huh?
It was probably a much more weird crew of people than you'd think. Because it was probably a mix of like North Medford hockey kids,
Yeah, Chode
other random
Brogan.
people. No, it wouldn't have been him, not in middle school.
All right, one more political thing before we move on here. Um, in a interesting turn of events. So I don't know if you've seen or heard, you might have, right? But most people by now have heard that RFK Jr. suspended his campaign in some states in order to support Donald Trump. Um, which, by the way, I know we haven't really talked much politics lately, which has been kind of nice. Um, but Trump is assembling himself like a pretty legit squad, right? Like if you look at so this is one of those things, right? Where like again, if you listen to the show long enough, you know, like I'm not a Trump guy. Like I'm not like banging the drum for Trump, but if I have to choose between him and Harris, I'm choosing Trump, right? If I had to choose between Trump and Biden, I'm choosing Trump, right? Like if it was like if they had run Mitt Romney, right? If they had done what I alluded to what they were going to do, right? I could find myself voting for Mitt Romney as a Democrat, right? Like I don't really give a shit, right? Like again, like I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not allegiant one way or the other. However, if you look at it from like the squad, right? Like who is this person bringing with them? Trump has assembled a team of, I mean, JD Vance is his VP. I don't really know a ton about him other than he wrote a book that became an Oscar nominated movie. I don't know. Again, I don't know a ton about the guy. Um, but he's now gotten RFK Jr. on his bandwagon. He's got Tulsi Gabbard, who's now part of his team, right? And all of these people are the people that I've been saying, oh, I would definitely vote for them, right? Like if Tulsi ran, Tulsi could run as a fucking, I don't know, member of the IRA, right? Like she'll bring the IRA over to the United States. Like I'd still vote for her. Right? It doesn't matter. I don't care. RFK Jr., like the whole time I've been saying, but when it was Trump and Biden, I was like, I'll vote for RFK Jr. That's fine. But now that it's Harris, I'll probably vote for Trump, right? Um, but also because RFK Jr. is out of the race too. So, it's one of those. I just think it's funny, right? That now he is like leaving to support Trump. And for so long, people in the Democratic Party were trying to keep him off of the presidential tickets, right? Like they wouldn't let him be on. They didn't want him to be part of anything. They were trying to exclude him from the game, right? Like you can't sit with us type of thing. Now that he wants to drop out and join Trump, the Democratic states are coming out and saying, "No, it's too late. You can't remove yourself from the ballot. You got to stay on." So the same people that didn't want him in the first place, right? They didn't want him to be on the ticket to be able people to be able to vote for him. Now that he wants to drop out to support Trump, they're like, no, 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 you got to stay on. You missed the deadline to drop out, so we're gonna leave your name on the ballot. But only in places like Michigan and Minnesota and like that. You know what I mean? Like the big the Democratic states. I think Pennsylvania might be one of them too. Like, no, 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 no. We have to leave your name on the ballot because it's past the deadline.
Shame on anyone that votes for that fucking guy. He's not even running.
Yeah, I know. I know. But like it's one of those things again, it's just how stupid do you think the American public is, right? Or your voter base, right? Like pretty stupid, right? If you think that like people can't put that together. I literally like 6 months ago, you were doing everything you could to make sure that RFK Jr. was not on any ballot. And now that he wants to drop out to support Donald Trump, no, 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 no. You got to stay on the ballot. You can't leave the ballot. You can't come off. Yeah, but what happened like 6 months ago when you said you would do it? He like didn't meet the threshold to be on. Like, well, yeah, but you can't. He can't come off now. He's already on. You know what I mean? Like people, how do you like
Yeah.
how does anyone that's not completely blinded by their political ideology look at that scenario and be like, hey, that seems legit. Like again, how does any reasonable person look at that scenario and go, oh yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the very unlikely or non I mean, dude, like, don't get me wrong. There are some situations, like my mother has already done like some early ballot counting
Yeah,
in the city. Like, yeah, you can't come off that because those ballots are already out.
right, right.
But like anyone using a computer system, it's not that hard to delete, or pull up fucking control F12 and
Yeah.
code in remove
Yeah.
Kennedy Jr. Like,
Yep.
but it's like, so this is the thing too. It's like you look at it and it's like, oh, it's bullshit. But like with the speed that local government actually moves at, it might be too late to take him off the ballot. It might like they might
Yeah,
actually be
yeah,
telling the truth on this one.
yeah. That's fair.
But if they wanted, if it was like if it was gonna go the other way, they'd have him off in seconds. Like
Oh, for sure.
if they thought his removal would help them, he'd be gone and like effective immediately.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
any ballots with his name on it would just probably get transferred to whoever they want.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's like kind of like both things are true. It's like, oh well, you got to stay on. It's like, yeah, well, again, you're as inefficient as you guys are. That's probably true. But again, if it would help you, he'd be gone.
Right. Well, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Cunts.
Yeah. They're all cunts. All right. So I guess um what are we when did we start this? What were we doing for
Good
time?
question, dude.
I have no idea.
I
Do you
feel like
want
we're
to
like,
wrap this up? Are we still too
are
early?
we like a half hour? Is
Yeah,
it
we
like,
could
or a
be.
little bit less than a half hour?
Yeah, we could be like a half hour. All right. I got one more thing then before we wrap up. Um, so I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast the other day with Andrew Huberman. Do you know Huberman? Have you heard of him?
Heard of. I don't actually know who he is.
Yeah, he's in the fitness world. So he has his own, I should say, health, fitness, wellness space, whatever, because it's not like the that term fitness world has kind of ceased to mean what it used to mean. Because everyone's into like, biohacking and stupid bullshit like that. Like do hard things, right? Um, but Huberman is actually one of the good ones. I've been following him for a long time. I'm a big fan of what he does. So he was on the Rogan podcast again the other day, and he said something that made my ears perk up because it's something that we have talked about before, right? So anytime two idiots like us make somewhat grandiose claims, right? I can see how some people might be like, oh, yeah, they're just two dumb idiots kind of talking about whatever. But this has been confirmed by someone with a PhD who works at Stanford University, right? Like Andrew Huberman is a very good scientist working at one of the greatest colleges in the world, right? Like Stanford is up there as one of the greatest in the entire world. So he told a story that he was at some social gathering with Rick Rubin, right? Like the music guy. Um, and he didn't say who, he didn't say any names, but he goes, there was one of the world's top neurosurgeons at this like social gathering. So Huberman and Rick Rubin are like pretty good friends now. So they're sitting there with this neurosurgeon, right? One of the best neurosurgeons in the whole world, right? Because just by transitive proxy. Like if you're one of the best neurosurgeons in the US, you're one of the best in the world. So Rick Rubin, so this is Huberman telling the story. Rick Rubin asks the neurosurgeon a question, and he goes, how much information that is currently in textbooks that are being used in college classrooms is either inaccurate or outdated? What do you take a guess? Do you want to take a guess as to what the one of the best neurosurgeons said to Rick Rubin when he asked him that question?
85%.
What, 85? That's a bit high.
Okay.
So that's our pessimistic bias showing through. 50%. He said 50% of all of the textbooks that are used in college today, whether it's bachelor's and master's, PhD level to use to instruct people. And this is just in neurosurgery, right? So he's only asking about his field, right? Ask one of the top neurosurgeons in the neurosurgery academia how much of the information that is in those textbooks is incorrect, has since been proven incorrect or outdated. And he goes 50%, half of all the information that is being taught to people in school to be a neurosurgeon. That's a brain surgeon, right? For anyone out there that didn't figure that out.
Different than a rocket surgeon.
Yeah, it's very different than a rocket surgeon. So to be a brain surgeon, those people are learning, and the 50% of the information that they're getting is either incorrect or outdated. How fucking wild is that? So for the fitness world, it could be 85%, right? So you might be actually more accurate.
I'm sure it is at this point.
So Huberman is telling this story to Rogan, and Rogan's like, "How? Like, how is this possible?" And he goes on to say that exactly what we have talked about before. And he goes, "The pace at which the textbooks are created don't align with the current science that's being out there." And he goes, "When something is a new study and it comes out, they're not going to immediately put it in a textbook because they want to replicate it over and over again. And then by the time they do that, they're like, okay, let's put it in the textbook. 5 or 6 years has gone by, right? And there's other science being done that's going to improve or disprove or, show a new way that you don't need to do that other way anymore. So he's like, that's how this happens, right? You have these textbooks are basically relics of the past, right? So what's in there are scientific research studies that happened no sooner than like 5 years ago, right? Like a new brand new textbook, newest edition. That information is again at best from 5 years ago. You don't have access to the current information in academia unless you have a professor that's willing to go off the tech, like away from the textbook and talk about, current science. Or you're lucky enough to go to a college where like they're actually doing the shit, right? Like if you go to a Stanford or a UCLA or in the fitness world, right? If you went to Eastern Tennessee State University or LSU Shreveport or like one of those where like people that are there are that's where the current science is being done, right? So like you have access to these people that are doing the current science, right? So that could be your scenario, right? Like you have a professor that is deeply involved in like active work that will be in the textbook in about 8 years, right? But like you get it now because your professor's doing it now, right? Like that's a very real scenario too. But again, you have to get lucky there. So yeah, once again, another reason why academia is basically a bunch of bullshit because according to, again, one of the best neurosurgeons in the world, in the neurosurgery field of academia, 50% inaccurate or outdated. I mean, I heard that and like obviously I smiled, right? Because I was like, yeah, we knew that. We've been saying that forever.
Yeah.
But
Oh, not old enough.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, it's not old enough. You can't teach that. Okay. Thanks, dude. But like that's literally how it works. It's not just a Bridgewater State thing. It's all of academia.
On the least bit surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just kind of mind blowing again, too, right? Like those are people doing brain surgery, right? Like I we people joke and do all that and say, oh yeah, brain surgeon, or it's not rocket science, or rocket surgery, all that shit. Like we joke, like, no, 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 these are actual brain surgeons.
And what do they know?
Nothing really.
Nothing new.
Yeah, yeah, nothing new, that's for sure. So hopefully you don't need brain surgery anytime soon. So with that said, now you want to wrap it up.
We can wrap this up.
All right.
So, getting the condo ready to get listed to sell, whatever.
Yep.
So Michaela's like the point person on that front. Like she met with the realtor. Realtor told her like you need 400 baskets in this house. Like,
Yeah, you need more
if there's
baskets.
anything less than 400 baskets, like this house will never sell. Um, no, but it's like, get rid of, like, it was the same thing with us, dude. Like, get rid
Yeah.
of everything. It's like, can't be here, can't be out. It's like, well, we use that for daily, doesn't matter. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, she's handling, she was mostly upstairs at this point. So I generally cook all of our food for the week.
Right.
So I'm cooking 3 pounds of ground turkey, 2 pounds of chicken. I got 2 pounds of pork chops getting ready to go. I pull out 2 pounds of pork, another 2 pounds of chicken, like getting ready to like cook all this stuff. And I got all the vegetables that go in the microwave, and I'm just kind of like, I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, it's a fucking shit show in here, like which it always is. But when you need to do other things, or like you're trying to help, because especially because the kitchen needed to be cleaned,
Right.
but food only cooks as fast as it cooks. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna have a fucking nervous breakdown in this fucking place. So I got my cast iron pan. I got fucking shit everywhere. This place is a fucking wreck. Got the cast iron pan, get it to like smoking ish. Pork chops are about to go in. Go to turn the fan on in the microwave. Here up. And it shits the bed.
Oh, good.
So I get the pan off, and so like I needed the exhaust fan. So now I'm the manual exhaust fan where I'm sitting there
Yeah.
with a towel just waving it back and forth.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Get that off.
Get those reps in.
Meanwhile, there was something in the microwave that didn't cook completely, and my timer's going off for the food in the oven. Like, what the fuck? So I go downstairs, check the breaker. Breaker's fine. Come back upstairs, open the microwave. Smells like something fucking blue in there.
Smells like
Like,
melted plastic.
yeah, pretty much. It smelled
Yeah.
like melted plastic, basically. Like, awesome. No smoke, but like smells like plastic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So I unplug it, plug it back in as if that was gonna work. Like, no, dude, this thing's cooked.
Just
Like,
try blowing on it.
yeah, I tried resetting it. If it was an N64, it would have been fine, but
Well, yeah, for
unfortunately, it was a
sure.
microwave. So yeah, now in the preparations of getting ready to sell this place, we gotta put a new microwave in. And it's like it's the microwave exhaust fan over the stove, whatever.
Yep.
So truth be told, I don't 100% know how to do that. So I guess we have to fucking learn.
Yeah, because that's one of those things like you don't really want to pay someone to come do because then it becomes a ridiculous cost, right? Like I don't know how much that like over the stove microwaves are. Say they're like $300, right? Because they're like built in and they got an
Yeah, I
exhaust
think they're a
fan,
little bit
whatever.
less, but yeah, they're not fucking 50.
Yeah, it's not the $40 one you're gonna go get at Walmart, right? That we used to have in college. Um, so even the one we had at Mansfield, it was probably
That one's
like
still kicking at
50.
the gym,
Yeah, it's probably that was probably $50, right? That we bought.
probably.
Um, so yeah, like even say if it's like 150, $200, right? Well, now if you have to have someone come in to install it, now you're looking at an additional $300.
Well, so here's the other part too is you got to pay someone to come out just so that they can measure, look,
Right,
and evaluate. Then they got to purchase the right thing, and then they have to
right,
come back and install it. So you're paying them twice.
right, right. Yeah, so a hundred and
And
fifty dollar microwave just became like a $600 bill, right? On
yeah,
top
because
of like trying to sell a house.
if you're paying someone to show up and do it, so
Yeah.
I think that's what will be my next move.
Yeah, but what you need to do is get that belt sander and sand down the walls around it so it's easier to come out. And
I
then
don't
when you're
even know how
done,
this.
you can take the old microwave and put it in the wood chipper.
I'll put it in a fucking fire and fucking breathe it. The funny thing is though, this might actually get installed similar to the air conditioner that I uninstalled, where it's got like a casing and then like the guts
Oh
go in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't 100% know that.
yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible. It sounds
So,
like fun.
dude, it's just a fucking shoot me in the face special.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like way better when the contractor is just handling everything in Weymouth.
Yeah. Mm. It's way easier, right? Like, hey, by the way, just take care of that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
So,
can you swing by the old house and fix this microwave for me? Install the new one.
yeah. That's the thing. You're and like that's the thing is like it's such a fucking waste.
Yeah. And it's not even like one of those scenarios. It's also like realistically, it's kind of a hassle to try and do it anyway. But like you guys still need to live there for another couple weeks,
Yeah.
right? So it's not even like it was right before you leave and you're like, hey, shit, man, like, the microwave broke. We'll fucking take $500 off the price or whatever. Like you still need to live there and have a
Yep.
functioning microwave for the next couple weeks. Like
Yep. So dumb.
yeah, yeah.
So dumb.
Which also too, like in the grand scheme of things, that's why I said like it's kind of a lame thing to do. Like if you're gonna buy a house for hundreds of thousands of dollars, be like, oh yeah, the microwave shit the bed. We'll take $500 off the purchase price. It's like I'd be like, dude, take your $500 and shove it up your fucking ass. Like,
Yeah, I mean like fine, but now I have to fucking
yeah.
get this microwave installed. What the fuck? Because that's my thing is even like an appliance store.
Yeah,
They're not coming out to do the measuring and make sure it's right.
right,
You
right,
go to them and then hope it's fucking right.
right. Yeah. Ugh, that's so fucking
So
miserable.
dumb, dude. So fucking stupid.
Oh man.
I'll have to find a
Well,
nice landfill to fucking dump it in too.
and then just lay in it.
Well, hopefully for generations, it just kind of, leaches into their
Yeah.
soil.
All whatever fucking what do you microwaves even have? They're not radioactive. Right? That's just a microwave. They just emit microwaves.
I was gonna say they've got microwaves.
Yeah. But like how do you emit those microwaves? Like where does that come from? Like what radiation? Like where does that come from? You know what I mean?
I don't know,
Like
but didn't they used to tell
it's
you
not
like
like there's like
don't stare at
iridium
them,
in your fucking microwave.
don't stare at the microwave because
Yeah.
it'll fucking make you retarded, basically.
I think that's been debunked. But yeah, I mean, I do remember being a kid and my mom being like, get away from the microwave.
Yeah. Between the lead paint and the microwave, it's like, man, I never had a chance.
We just really weren't set up for success.
I used to, well, dude, not like it's Tommy Boy, like literally, like,
Yeah.
why are you retarded? Well, one, I think there's some brain chemistry there. Two, I used to chew on lead paint when I was a kid. Three, like, I stared in the microwave. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe the old microwaves, it wasn't good to stare at them, but I'm pretty sure the new ones, like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, that's not a
no, no
thing.
way. They
Yeah.
can't sell anything like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of wonder like how do you create microwaves, right? Like I said, it's not like there's like plutonium in the fucking microwave that's going to emit radiation or something. Like how does one create microwaves?
You
I don't
plug it
know.
into the wall,
Yeah.
it's cook time, 500 start.
Yeah, I suppose so. Um, well, speaking of retarded things, um, Jones sent us this the other day in our Twitter thing, and there has been a I don't know if you call it a trend, but it's definitely gone viral where someone found at Purdue University that parents of children that attend Purdue are trying to figure out who their RAs are and how to contact them over different things, right? So there's a couple different Facebook posts in this group. And so one of them, these are all parents of Purdue University students. So someone goes, also, how can we find out who the floor RA is and their contact number? Why? You gonna call your kids RA? Like,
Yeah, and get what out of that?
yeah, what's gonna happen from that? Like, why do you need to contact your kids RA? Right? Like
Also,
that's
your kid's RA is also a college kid.
yeah, that's true too. Your kids RA also in college, right? Also a student. Just at least 1 year older.
Generally, yes.
Generally, yeah. So here's another post. Worried mama. My son is already having roommate issues. He's nice, but wants to bring friends to their dorm at 12:30 a.m. He told my son he wants to hook up with a bunch of girls. My son told him they needed to set boundaries. I hope my son makes friends soon.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. If your son is complaining to you about his roommate who stays up until 12:30 and wants to hook up with a lot of girls, your kid's probably not going to have friends. Sorry.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely. The next one. I'm so upset slash disgusted with my son's first few days. My son's RA is AWOL. Canceled the first and only meeting that he set. He says the group leader for BGR, I don't know what BGR is, only meets them for meals. He seems to be on a very international hall where a lot of kids are speaking foreign languages, so he's basically all alone. I'm so upset and disappointed for him. I mean, I don't really know what to do with that one. Like there was a lot going on in there too. Like it started out like my son's RA is AWOL. He canceled the first and only meeting that he set. Dude, you don't want to meet with your RA. No one wants to hang out
No,
with the RA. Like
no.
it's
RA bad.
it's one of these two where it's like this tells me you didn't go to college. Right? Like you don't know what an RA is. If you're like,
Oh,
"Oh, I
dude,
need
it's
to be able to talk to my
remember when they
son's
would do like
RA."
movie night?
Yeah.
These parents are the ones that would attend those things.
Yeah. Probably. That's true. They're like, "Oh, yeah, when I was in school, my RA did all kinds of cool
You know,
things for
actually,
us."
you know who these parents probably were? They probably
The
were the fucking RA.
Yeah, that's true too.
Fucking
And
squids.
they were just narking on everybody.
Ugh. One good RA, like in my entire time, Dre. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But then like he seems to be on an international hall where kids are speaking foreign languages, so he's basically all alone. Do they exclusively only speak these other languages? Like, like do not they all go to Purdue University, which is a pretty good academic school, and none of them know how to speak English?
nope, none of them.
Like, what? What the
They're
fuck?
all going to be engineers and they can't speak English.
Yeah. Yeah, like what the fuck are you like? What does that even mean?
I was talking to one of the kids at one of the ISL schools, and he was like, he goes, yeah, he goes, I live there, and there's like 8 Chinese kids, and they speak Mandarin all the time. He's like, they speak English perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah,
So they speak English to us, and they speak probably Mandarin, I assume.
yeah, yeah,
They speak Mandarin to them.
yeah.
Pretty easy to figure out.
Pretty easy there. So the next one, or the last one that I have here is my son's roommate has been a complete disaster so far, and I don't know how to resolve it. He, in parentheses, the roommate, brought his Xbox and plays loud video games until midnight and invites girls over. My boy is an introvert and doesn't like strangers in his dorm room. I drove several hours once I heard about the issue and talked to his roommate, who was utterly disrespectful. Should I go back and talk to the RA? Any other parents dealing with this too? I'm willing to bet no. Well, actually, I'm willing to bet yes,
Well, there are.
based
There's
on
at least three others.
this Twitter thread. Yeah, there are at least three others. But excuse me, like, oh my god, this is why I hate people. This is why people suck.
So I
Like,
know I lived with our friends, so it's not the same. Utterly disrespectful would have been like my fucking nickname.
yeah. Also, you drove
Several hours.
you drove several hours to this college campus. Listen, even if I wasn't utterly disrespectful as just a genuine person, right?
That would have been bad, dude.
If my random roommate that I got assigned with, his parents showed up to our dorm room and tried to tell me that I couldn't play Xbox or have people in the room because it's upsetting their son, I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
I would have. So that's the
I
thing.
would be
Utterly
like, yeah, you
disrespectful.
guys can go fuck yourselves.
Utterly disrespectful would actually probably be a nice. You would be
Yeah.
getting off lightly,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like
Get back in
all
your
the
car and
all of a
drive
sudden
home
I'm up till 3 a.m.
and
now.
take your son with you.
It's like, am I too tired? Absolutely. It's like, am I gonna
Yeah.
feel like shit tomorrow? Sure am. But I am
Yep.
up till 3 a.m. now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
And
got paired with a
anybody that
random
wants to
roommate
come in, anyone that
and
wants to come in, they're in.
yeah.
Who
And
is
we
that
ended up
person?
being
Don't
great
know.
friends. Like me and Strickland ended up being great. I mean, I haven't talked to him in years since he moved out to Utah, but we were random assigned roommates and we got along great. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there was things I did that pissed him off, and there was things he did that pissed me off. But like in like 90% of the time, we got along great. And like I said, we stayed friends for after college until he moved to Utah and became some sort of forest ranger or something. I don't know. He like lives in the woods. I don't even think he has like internet.
He doesn't strike me as someone that would need internet.
No, no, no. Um, but yeah, like if his parents showed up and was like, "Why are you playing video games at night?" It's like it's none of your fucking business. That's why. Like, fuck off.
Because I'm fucking 18 years old and in college.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Everyone sucks, right? I was gonna say kids suck, parents suck, Purdue sucks. No, everyone sucks. Like, it's one of those things now too. Being a parent, right? And I know I'm still 17 years away from ever having to deal with this, but like that is not ever an option in my mind to like reach out to the school. The only time I would ever reach out to the school is to like pay a fucking bill, right? Like you're an adult, dude. Like you're if you choose
Yeah,
to go to college,
if you
like
get the call, like,
you figure it out, right? Like I'm not going to help you sign up for classes. I'm not going to talk to
no,
your RA. I'm not going to do any of that shit for
no,
you.
I already
You're
did
in
it
college.
myself.
You figure it the fuck out.
I already did all that.
Yeah, you're not going to get any of that from me, right? If you need me to pay your bill and I have enough money to pay the bill, then yeah, whatever, right? Like I don't want you to get screwed over like I did
Well,
having to pay
I
student
need gas
loans.
money. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
Yeah, sure. Here's fucking $100, right? But like I'm not going to do that shit for you, right? Like you're an adult, figure it out. Like that just blows my mind that like these parents are like, "Oh no, I'll just get in the car and drive several hours to talk to your roommate."
Things I
No.
would not do.
Yeah. How about you be an adult and be like, "Hey man, I have an 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Can you do me a solid and cut the Xbox at like 11:30 on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday nights?" You know what I mean? Like you
Yo,
just
headphones.
yeah, you mind using headphones, right? Like Yeah.
But that would require speaking.
Right. True. Yeah. And their son is an introvert. So, he can't speak.
Yeah, introverts, deaf mutes, whatever, they're all the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Might as well. Oh, my son's introverted. And what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, that's
Doesn't have a voice. His voice doesn't work.
so that might be a topic for another time, the whole introvert extrovert thing. Like, yes, they are real,
Yeah. They're way overblown in today's
but
world, though.
like you, you can't use, oh, well, I'm so introverted. It's like that's not a fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's because I'm introverted. No, it's not. You just don't like people. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't like people either. Right.
So
Like,
introverted I can't order pizza.
yeah. Yeah.
Like you're certainly capable of it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I couldn't possibly call and order pizza or order food. No, no, no. It's because I'm an introvert.
Too
No, it's because you
introverted.
don't want to fucking do it. But it's fine. I don't particularly enjoy calling a pizza place to order food either. But I do it because I want the pizza. I want what they're selling. Right? Like it's not because I'm introverted. It doesn't mean shit. It's so overblown, right? In
Yeah.
today's world. And then like I love now too, I've seen like, oh, you can be both introverted and you can be an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert.
Not
It's
quite
like,
literally
no,
you
how
can't.
about you're a fucking normal person? Like, how about you're just a normal person, right? And sometimes you don't want to be bothered by other people. And sometimes you're like, yeah, I could go out and hang out today. Right? Like, oh no, it's because I'm an introverted extrovert. And today I'm a little bit more introverted. But tomorrow I feel better and I'm gonna go hang out with my friends at the bar. So I'm an extrovert today. Nope, you're just retarded. Like
Just a
the
fucking asshole.
like not everything needs a label. Right? Like it's fine. Like I said, some days you just don't want to talk to people, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean, oh, today I'm an introvert. No, today you're an idiot.
And tomorrow you will be too.
See,
Don't
tomorrow you'll
worry.
still be an idiot, but you'll be a different kind of idiot. Oh man. Yeah. People suck. So that's it. That's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. If you're an audio only listener, subscribe there as well. If you happen to be on Spotify or iTunes, leave us a review and 5 stars. That would be much appreciated. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes below. Get some cool products, some discounts, and support them and support us. So until next time, good night, everybody.